Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. I'm Sully. This is Zach over here. Welcome back to the Zach and Sully podcast. We're sorry we took a little bit of a hiatus. We had a crazy couple weeks, but we're very happy to be back broadcasting to you guys live from Lee, Massachusetts for myself, from Columbus, Ohio for Zach. Zach, say hi.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm back here right now. I would have loved to be back in Charleston, where the weather's a lot nicer than it is here. But we didn't have that bad of a day today. I guess it was like 43, like 44 degrees, which is pretty pathetic considering I just came from like 81-degree weather. But whatever, back to reality, I guess. Unless like I can find some work down there, which would be sweet.
Yeah, that's a heads up to future employers if you're hiring. For you. But no, I went for a big old bike ride today. I don't know. It was along it was along the river, and it was cold, man. It was. I did like.
Yeah, I went for a jog around campus today, and like I said, like it wasn't bad until like I got up around like Woodruff, which is like one of the main streets that goes in intersection of Ohio State, and the wind coming down from like from North High Street was just like driving me crazy. I was like, I had to cut it short. It sucked, but all right, well. Enough of that. Like, you want to lead us in? We're going to be doing strictly March Madness today, anyway. So let's talk some basketball, I guess.
The greatest weekend in all of the year, as far as sports are concerned, comes to a close as of today, and it's been a hell of a ride. It always is. We're talking about college basketball, March Madness. Right now, I've got Middle Tennessee and Syracuse on my TV. I believe Zach has the Oklahoma game on his. It hasn't stopped. I've drank a lot of beers. Ate a lot of fried food. It's been a little bit of a haul, but I've gotten through it. I've watched every single game. I think 2 of the 4 days I had to get on with my life. The other 2 I had a little bit of work to do, but we've got some upsets, and it's been pretty crazy so far.
I honestly can say this. I was watching the SF Austin West Virginia game, which I will get to in a second because Notre Dame is the luckiest team in the tournament thus far. I will tell you that about the referees earlier today. But we were watching the game, and I know you had said this on one of the early podcasts, and I talked about this earlier today. So, like, it was enjoyable because I'm on spring break, and I get to watch the games. And, we're on vacation. Unfortunately, I'm at a Chicago bar watching the game. So every single time that there is a big event going on, I'm interrupted by Chelsea Dagger every time the Chicago Blackhawks score.
I hate that song so much.
I had my phone died, so like I couldn't like text Sully back and say, "Hey man, you would love this bar. They play Chelsea Dagger every time the Blackhawks score." And unfortunately, it was a game when they were playing Winnipeg and they won 5-0, so I got to hear it. Also, they scored 3 times in like 2 minutes, so it was dun 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 dun. And then there's actually a fellow sitting next to me from Newton, Mass. That said, "I'm a Boston guy and I hate this crap so much." So
isn't it funny when you bump into local people like when you're nowhere near home? Like my grandfather is down in Florida, as he does every single winter, and he said he was at the beach the other day and a guy walked out of his apartment in a Bruins shirt, and he was like, "You're a Bruins fan?" The guy said, "Oh yeah." "Do you hate the Canadians?" He said, "I hate the Canadians." They became best friends. But
that's
I know
awesome.
myself personally, I went to Citi Field in New York, and the people sitting right in front of us, literally 1 row in front of us, had Bruins hats on. We're like, "Oh, you guys from Boston?" They go, "Oh, yeah, Saugus." We're like, okay. No kidding.
I love it. It's such a cool experience, like especially like when you meet sport fans from all over the place. And like I remember last year we were watching the March Madness tournament too, like when we were out in Arizona. Ohio State was playing U of A. And yeah, they didn't win the game, but there was a lot of Ohio State like faithful down there. Of course, there were Wildcat fans. I mean, we weren't in Tucson, but like we were in Middle Arizona area. So, but yeah, it's cool like going around like meeting new fans and seeing all different kind of things and stuff. But all right, let's get right into it. Just tell me right now, name some of your favorite games from. You can say the round of 64, the round 32. What do you?
You and I.
Oh yeah, that was the game of this week. That half court shot, I was stunned.
Those of you who are just joining us, Texas, University of Northern Iowa, late night game. I think it's about 12:30.
It was the latest one, I think, because I remember being at the bar and I remember like we pulled up the live stream on it or the highlight of it after it happened, and we all watched it and we were going nuts.
I was sitting in this very chair. I was a game tied. I would believe it was 71-69, Texas favor. Or it was right around there anyways. But I'm sitting in this very chair watching TV. It's late at night. My neighbor's was a very pregnant, definitely asleep by then, and I'm just casually kind of watching it. I joined in late. I think I was watching the UNC game, or maybe it was another game, but I joined this one late in the second half. And it's back and forth. Those of you who don't remember, Texas got bounced in the first round last year, and people were saying that they were kind of a team to watch. So you kind of looked for it. You think either they're going to come back with a vengeance or they're going to choke yet again. And Northern Iowa, if you've never heard of them, they did have a good year. They beat North Carolina, who was ranked #1 this year. So very worthy team of being in this tournament. But
I was kind of upset about that game too, because like as cool as it was that Northern Iowa won, I would have been really psyched to see Texas A&M and Texas play in the tournament, because you know how those guys were big rivalries. I mean, before the A&M split to the SEC, I mean that was a fun game to watch those two go at it. So that would have been kind of cool to see. But I mean, this is what March Madness is all about. It's all about those teams that the upsets, and it's always about the crazy finishes and stuff. But yeah, that game was incredible.
I did not think that shot had a prayer of going in. I thought he was heaving it up, and I think.
So we have a final breaking. Oklahoma just beat VCU 85-81. They're advancing to the Sweet 16.
Good. Glad to hear it. My bracket's not completely in shambles.
Yeah, I didn't do a bracket this year. I know Sully did one, but I was pressed for time, and I just didn't really have a lot going on with between school and a lot going on between going to spring break and stuff. So it was just kind of a hassle for me to get it done and print something out. But evidently, I've had a lot of more fun enjoying it, knowing I don't have to get mad and root for teams and games that I don't really care about.
See, that's something I haven't done since I've been watching college basketball, which has been middle school really. And I would love to take a year and just do that and not have any invested interest in it. But every year comes around, I still crank out 3, 4, 5 brackets,
Yeah, so I'm looking at some of these matchups right now. So some of the matchups are already ready to go for next weekend. Some of them are still pending. So we got in the South bracket, Miami and Villanova are already all set for a matchup. They're going to play the winner of whoever wins Kansas. Well, actually, Kansas has already advanced to the Sweet 16, but they're waiting on Maryland and Hawaii. Now, I'm going to say this. Hawaii with a big upset over Cal, and Maryland has been very inconsistent for all the hype that came in about them this year. So I'm not going to flat out say that I think that Maryland's going to lose, but I would not be surprised if they got upset. The Big Ten is garbage this year. I mean, Michigan State proved that. They were pretty consistent the entire year. It goes to show how bad Ohio State was in basketball, because Ohio State got throttled by Michigan State in the 3 games they played them this year. So Michigan State goes in. Their first game, they play Middle Tennessee State, and they didn't even lead the entire game. They did not maintain a lead over Middle Tennessee State, a 15th seed. That is pathetic. And I don't know I don't know. You had that game on right now. What's going on between Middle Tennessee and Syracuse right now?
Middle Tennessee is up by about 6 points. Or sorry, Syracuse. Cuse is up by about 6.
Oh, Cuse is okay. All right, I was going to say this would be unbelievable if they got to the next round, but I'm leaning a little towards Syracuse. Well, how much time's left in that game right now?
It's about 10 minutes.
Oh, they got plenty of time. So, I mean, I won't say it's over, but
have you? I never heard of Middle Tennessee before this weekend.
I mean, I knew of them obviously from playing NCAA games and stuff with football, but I mean, I never even used them or knew any players on their squad. But yeah, this is obviously a big thing for their program. And then what I'm sensing, a lot of things with some of the teams over the last decade have built programs by just going deep as a young seed in the tournament. I mean a high seed, a low seed in the high seed or low seed. I mean, you can look at it either way. Meaning 14th seed, 15th seed team. So you can look at a VCU who went to the Final Four a few years ago. I mean, they've been consistently going back into the tournament, and you can look at the same thing for even SF Austin. They made a run a couple of years ago, and now they've been consistently back in the tournament. And
Wichita State made
another one. So I mean, they unfortunately lost a lot of firepower from the squad last year. And I mean, Miami looks a lot better than what they did, even when they were hyped up a few years ago to go deep, because they were a 2nd seed and they look pretty good. That's looking to be a good matchup over there between them and Villanova. All right, I'm looking at the East right now. So North Carolina and Indiana are going to play next Friday. Indiana looks very good.
Yep.
They look they were consistent all year. Beat Ohio State a lot. I mean, I'm referring them because I watched a lot of Big Ten basketball, and it was kind of tough to watch. But it just goes to show, Iowa's already out, Michigan State's already out, and now I think Indiana might be I think Indiana is the only team left in the Big Ten that's in right now, and they've looked really good against Kentucky. Yogi Everett, their point guard, great ball player. He had a fantastic game against Kentucky. North Carolina, God, I want to see them lose so bad. I do not like UNC.
Keep rolling. Rolling.
What?
You have to admit, though, that out of
I'm
all
not being
the teams,
biased. I'll give credit where it's due. I just don't want them to win.
they have one of the most athletic teams I've seen in this tournament.
I still think Kansas is the best team in the tournament athletically and basketball skill-wise, but North Carolina is a close second.
I had North Carolina losing to Michigan State in the Final Four originally, and I had them Michigan State beating Kansas. So either of those two teams, Kansas or North Carolina, I can absolutely see making a huge impact.
Yeah, I'm looking at in their bracket right now. So they got North Carolina beat Providence. They're playing Indiana. So from the other one, this is the game I want to talk about. Okay, so earlier today, SF Austin and Notre Dame played, and SF Austin consistently held the lead over Notre Dame for like at least most of the second half. There were stretches in the early part of the game and even like beginning part of the second half a little bit where Notre Dame kind of had a big lead on them. And I'm going to say this. SF Austin got screwed. They got screwed in this game. I don't know. Did you watch the end of the game? Did you see?
I watched the end, but I didn't see the entire game.
How can the referee make a call in that game on that tip-off between who's the star of Notre Dame, the one who has the Marcus Smart haircut? His last name starts with an A. Augustine? Is it Augustine?
Yeah.
He and the other guy were going for the ball, and neither of them even like slapped each other or even like elbowed each other. It was just like a typical jump ball. And they called a foul on SF Austin, and it sent Notre Dame right to the line. And then once again, later on in one of the possessions, I remember Notre Dame went up for a layup. The ball rolled off the rim, Sully. It rolled off the rim, and it was falling out of the rim, and the referee called a foul. While the teams are waiting for the rebound. No one's pushing, no one's shoving. It was like a late call. Notre Dame goes back to the line again. They get within one, and then SF Austin didn't take care of business on the other side, and then Notre Dame came back and over a scramble over the ball, Notre Dame tipped it in. They pretty much got 5 points handed right to them, and I thought the referees did not do a very good job or a fair job of managing that game at the end. So I feel so bad for those kids at SF Austin. I think they should be advancing. I think they played better than Notre Dame. I think they should be in the Sweet 16 waiting on Wisconsin or Xavier right now. I feel bad. I really do. I feel like you cannot make a call like that in March Madness. When you're fighting for the ball, you can't call a foul that late in the game. These referees, you got to tell these people, like, you can't do that to these teams. This is a big deal for these kids. This is like some of the last time these kids are ever going to play the game.
Yeah, it is a big bummer when you see guys like, there's no one really on SF Austin, maybe one or two guys that see some NBA time. But if those guys play ever again, it's going to be in China. It's going to be in Spain. And that's one of the coolest things about this tournament is that you do see a lot of the freshmen, the one-and-done freshmen that are coming in. You do see a lot of seniors or juniors, guys like Bryce Johnson, guys like Buddy Hield, Chris Dunn, who are, they've put in their time. They've had a couple good years, and now they're going to go make their big money in the NBA. But for the overwhelming majority of this tournament, these guys are never going to play organized basketball ever again.
And I love the kid from SF Austin, Thomas Walkup. He had 33 points the round before, and he had another good game today. I mean, unfortunately, he came up short on one of the threes late in the game. I really wish he could have made that, but Notre Dame, you are luck of the Irish for sure. St. Patty's Day served you well, Notre Dame.
Sideburns are unreal.
There's another game we need to talk about. I want to talk about your boy Grayson Allen for a bit. I don't know if you saw, he got caught tripping again at the Yale game.
What, the Yale game? I only saw bits and pieces of the Yale game. I was working, so
he tripped another Yale player. So that's the third intentional trip he's had this season. Except he didn't get called on this one, but they caught it in the replay. So yeah, this kid's a scummy little prick. He really is. He doesn't. I can't have respect for players who like go out and purposely put their foot out in front of other ones to like get an advantage of the game. I am waiting for a tough team like Oklahoma, who isn't going to take shit from Grayson Allen. He's going to get knocked in the face by one of those big dudes on Oklahoma. I don't know Duke's got to play Oregon next round. I hope to God Oregon kicks their ass. I really do.
I would love for that to happen, but I feel like it should have happened by now. You know what I mean? Like, they've played teams, UVA is big and tough. North Carolina is huge, absolutely huge, and it hasn't happened yet. So, they've played teams who should have done it to them by now, and for whatever reason. First of all, can we talk about how Grayson Allen is Ted Cruz? Like the two.
I saw a comparison on that on Twitter the other day. It is kind of funny, the resemblance, but when you go through the villain idea that Ted Cruz is, it kind of like relates a lot to Grayson Allen because he probably is the most hated college basketball player in the country. He has to be. And
Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. So
I love how you said he wasn't the most hated candidate too, because you know who is. But yeah, that's another topic for another long, far away day that we'll ever address that. But like I said, Duke, good team, obviously. Grayson Allen, I'm not even gonna tell him to you got to shape it up. It's implanted in my head that he is just not a nice person. He is just a scumbag on the court, and there's nothing that's gonna change that. Unfortunately, he plays for Duke, so that ties into their reputation. It makes their persona look even worse, if you ask me.
Bunch of rich white boys using dad's money. And I hate Duke so much. Oh, my God.
It stinks, but
I have no reason to hate them as much as I do. And I hate them.
I'm trying to look for another game right now. So you said Syracuse is up a little bit on Middle Tennessee State. They're going to play Gonzaga. Gonzaga's played really well. They killed Seton Hall. They murdered Utah.
Murdering Utah was.
They might have the best advantage in the tournament right now. Look at this for Gonzaga. Gonzaga's going to play either Syracuse, who's been very inconsistent this year, or Middle Tennessee State, who doesn't have a lot of experience in Elite Eight. And if they win that game, they're going to play the winner between Iowa State and Virginia. Iowa State has been very known for collapsing in the tournament. Virginia has been very, very known for being a top seed and blowing it. So to me, this is a team that's catching fire late and at a right time, which is very unlike Gonzaga, because Gonzaga can sometimes be related in that Virginia-Iowa State category, those teams that end up exiting the tournament early. So, I mean, they could be a team to look out for, but as of right now, we'll see.
I think Zaga is just, they're ranked low, they're pissed off. They think they should have been seeded higher. They've had this difficult tournament, difficult run through the tournament.
But they haven't proved anything in the past that has got the board to vote them any higher. I know it's a different season and stuff, but if you're gonna sit here and tell me that that these stats and these things don't matter, or a reputation of a team, or like Duke, for example. There was talk that Duke was going to be a bubble team. No way is Duke ever going to be a bubble team. Duke, all they had to do is win one or two big games, and people would be like, "Oh, Duke, praise Duke. We gotta put them as a fourth seed or a fifth seed and stuff." And I'm not taking away credit from them and stuff, but a lot of it has to do with how a team has performed in the tournament in the past. And Gonzaga has been that team that plays very well during the season, but when it comes to crunch time in the tournament, they don't really amount to what they showed in the regular season. But this year seems to be different. So. Do you have any update from that game right now? I know I keep seeing you turn to the television. What's going on between Cuse and Middle Tennessee?
5 minutes left, 61-44 Syracuse.
61 what?
44.
Yeah, they're done. Middle Tennessee's out. So Syracuse is going to play Gonzaga.
One cool thing about Middle Tennessee, one of their I forget the guy's name, but the guy with the dreads, he was a Division III player last year for some school in Wisconsin. And transferred this year. Now he's playing in the tournament in the round of 32. Pretty cool story. I don't know how old he is. Probably not a senior. It'd be cool if he could come back next year. I love seeing teams like this. I love seeing the teams that no one knows about. Yale beating Baylor was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it was. That was awesome. And I remember you talking about Baylor. You were trying to give him the benefit. You were like, "Oh, Baylor looks pretty good," a few weeks ago when they were the 24th seed. And I remember, I don't know why. I'm obviously not trying to attack you on that, but I just remember that I didn't watch a lot of Baylor this year. I know you had mentioned them in one of the podcasts a few weeks ago, but yeah, those are the worst, especially for those teams that like Baylor who end up exiting the tournament early when you thought they might be able to make a run. But the Big 12, besides two teams, they've looked kind of disappointing so far.
Yeah, everybody talked it up so much during the season too. But I picked Yale because I've decided I have two rules when picking my bracket. One is never pick a Big East school. Seton Hall, Providence lost to Carolina. That was supposed to happen though. And the other is a team doesn't choke just once in a short period of time. So Texas choked 2 years in a row. Baylor choked 2 years in a row. UVA will choke for a number 1 seed eventually.
This is a very interesting matchup. I am excited to watch Virginia and Iowa State because these are two teams that have absolutely destroyed my bracket in the past. They're two teams I have a very I have a lot of animosity towards these two schools. I had Iowa State in the national championship last year. They lost in the first round. I had Virginia one year going to the Elite Eight, and they lost in like the second round. So these two teams have destroyed my brackets in the past, and now that I don't have one filled out between either of them, like if I had picked a bracket, I know for a fact I would not have picked this matchup because I would have expected one of those two teams to lose early because they just had a history of it. I mean, Virginia was playing Butler last round. I mean, Butler could have easily pulled that off. I mean, they've shown in the past. I mean, obviously the President Stevens isn't there anymore to help them get back to the tournament. That's a Bill Simmons reference, by the way. But like I said, like I'm interested to see how that game's going to go. So it looks like from the Midwest region, the Sweet 16 is going to come down between Virginia and Iowa State, and then Gonzaga is going to play Syracuse. I don't want Cuse to win, and I don't really care for Gonzaga, but it would be cool to see Gonzaga win. But we'll see.
If Duke, I'll be happy. Anyone. Just don't give Duke another one.
Yeah. I mean, we still got two. I think there's like 2 more games on tonight, too. There's a few more games on tonight, I think.
Killing my productivity.
Do Maryland, Hawaii get a play tonight, right? I think that's one game.
It's on right now.
It's on right now. Oregon and St. Joe's has to play. A&M and Northern Iowa have to play still. Wisconsin and Xavier have to play. So there's like 4 or 5 games that still need to be played tonight.
Trying to get
any work done tonight. I'm gonna be watching basketball all night.
Maryland and Hawaii are tied at 18. 6 minutes left in the first half.
Yep. So all right. So now that we got some of these teams out of the way, and it looks like a lot of the high seeds are. I mean, the only really like low seeds left are between Northern Iowa, who's 11th seed, and Hawaii, who's the 13th seed. Hawaii just like won their first tournament game, I think, or something like that. There's a lot of teams that have not been in here ever. I think they're one of them.
Providence won its first game since '98, I believe. Holy Cross won its first one since the '70s.
Yale won their first one ever the other day.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. I was really hoping they'd upset Duke. That'd be awesome.
I mean, obviously, who doesn't want to see Duke lose? I'm just looking at some of the teams from the Sweet 16. I'm gonna have a hard time thinking anyone's gonna beat Kansas in the South. I still think that Kansas will get to the Final Four. Looking from the West, Oklahoma looked pretty good against a VCU squad that played them pretty well. I don't know. I think A&M is going to get. I think A&M could get to the Final Four. A&M is very good. I
have A&M in the Final Four, and I want to say one thing real quick about Oklahoma is that I thought they were going to choke because I didn't think they were physical enough to play and to really go far because the tournament is such a physical game, and they completely proved me wrong today against VCU. They were attacking the rim, they were boxing out, and they won by what, like 20?
They won 85-81.
Okay, they didn't win by that much at all, but they were playing a real tough physical game against a VCU team that's pretty solid.
They were up big at one point, but VCU came back. We'll give credit where it's due and stuff that they made a game out of it. But yeah, Oklahoma's going to play A&M or Northern Iowa. I don't see Northern Iowa pulling up another miracle shot like last time against Texas. I think A&M's a better team than Texas. They've beaten better quality teams. They played in a Big 12 conference that was very, very tough this year, and they somehow landed a 3rd seed. So I'm going to give A&M the nod on that to play Oklahoma, and I don't see St. Joseph's beating Oregon. That's going to be an interesting game. They're going to play Duke. The winner of that game will play Duke.
St. Joe's has kind of come out of nowhere. I feel like they've disappeared a lot in the past few years.
And they're an 8th seed. So, but like Oregon, I haven't watched a lot of Oregon, but they were a 1 seed, and I was shocked to hear that because it just didn't seem like a 1-seeded team to me. But I guess I didn't watch enough of their basketball. You can't count me on that. So, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait. Obviously, probably until we get to another episode in the next couple of days to kind of like look at the Sweet 16 for a little bit and see what we got. I am excited to watch more hoops tonight and see what happens. I don't know. So we know that Syracuse Middle Tennessee game is pretty much likely over right now, so we're gonna have to wait on the next games to go on. So, but yeah, that's our tournament talk for now, I guess. Do you want to add anything else, like final thoughts, anything towards the?
I do have a final thought, and it's that the bracket for the NCAA hockey tournament came out today.
Oh yeah, the Frozen. Yeah, I did see that. So there's 16 teams, right?
Yep, 16 teams, and get this, 6 teams from Massachusetts, 6 Hockey East teams. So UMass Lowell, Boston College, Boston University, Northeastern, Harvard, and Providence College have all made it.
Yeah, they're the SEC of hockey.
Yeah, right now they are. Well, it's been, but they haven't been as dominant as they normally are. The ECAC has chipped in a lot, but with that being said, Yale has also made the tournament, so it's going to be a heck of a ride. In the Worcester portion of the bracket is BU.
Andrew Seamus is probably going to be pulling hard for Yale in hockey.
Yeah, well, no, Quinnipiac's a 1 seed. They're the number 1 overall
I'm
seed.
making fun of him because I know Quinnipiac lost in the championship to Yale. Remember that a few years ago?
Yeah, and they were about to tear down the entire city of New Haven.
Yeah, and then they didn't just lose; they got massacred. Yeah, I would have to say this. My final thought is this: I want to congratulate you. I read your article today that you did for the for that baseball website.
Thank you.
You did a great job covering that fat ass piece of crap that has really just driven me to absolute anger. I hope to God I don't give a crap if all the money goes down the drain. I want Travis Shaw starting at third base this year. I do not want Pablo Sandoval out there. He has no motivation. He does. You want to take a look, Sully, right there?
You see this? Do you see this right here?
Yep.
It's about how Travis Shaw has pretty much third base is his to lose, according to Farrell.
You have a guy who has no motivation for anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't think he has to work for anything. He said he doesn't have anything to prove on. He just came off the worst season of his career. He's not a Boston guy for me. I'm over Pablo Sandoval. Don't care for him anymore. He won 1 season and out, but it's you know what it is. And people give Boston fans all this crap in the world, like, yeah, you guys don't wait on people. You guys are awful to your players and stuff. Like, we're not awful to our players. It's just that fans of Boston are very, very passionate towards the game. And when you don't embrace the culture here and you don't know what it's like to win or you don't care, which is exactly what Sandoval has shown due to his last few locker room conferences and stuff, it just drives you nuts. And then you got a guy like Travis Shaw who's 24, 25 years old, and he works hard. He played hard. The Red Sox were well out of playoff competition, and he still was had the gas on, had a full on I don't even know how to like the gas on full pedal towards the end of the season to at least like prove that he could play third base. So praying to God that he just stuffs his face and loses his third base position to Shaw, because I think it will really help the Sox.
Yeah, I only have to add to that. You're exactly right. People will give Boston fans a lot of crap and say that you give up on players too easily. You don't give players the benefit of the doubt. Talk to guys like Gregory Campbell, Trot Nixon, O.J. Mayo, like guys who really are above average, but they're not fantastic players. You know, talk to guys like Scal. You know what I mean? Talk to guys who just work their butt off. They do what they do well, and they're friendly and they're appeasable to the general audience, but they care because they're workhorses. Brock Holt. Why does Brock Holt blow up in Boston? Because he's a blue-collar guy like half the city. Tell people about that, and then try and say that we don't care. No, we don't have any patience for guys who don't give a crap. That's what it is.
Yep. Boston fans are tough to please, but you know what it is? It just comes with the love of the sport. And Boston's fans are not like, it's not just them. Like New York fans are the same way. Chicago fans are the same way. Any big city except for a fake city like LA, they really care about their sports and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, even Texas folk are like that with like their football teams and stuff. But yep, that's all I got to say for today. I mean, if you want to wrap anything up else, if you have anything else to add,
that's all I have today.
What's that?
That's all I've got for today. Glad to get back on the horse.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, we apologize for that. I know we don't have like the biggest viewing audience in the world, but like we got 3 weeks away from doing a show is quite a while, and we hope to be back on this consistently and posting. And yeah, that's it for us today. So I'm Zach, coming from Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Sully. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. And check in with us Thursday, Friday. We'll have another show up by then.